Namaste, Mataji.
Namaste.
It's a great honor to have you today on our show, Mataji. Today is a very special podcast on love and happiness. Love is what makes the world go around. But in today's time, it has been highly misunderstood and misinterpreted. So let us ask Mataji today, Mataji, what pure love is?
Oh, beautiful question. Many times after my meditation, I also think about it and see that what exactly is this power working within us. It is nothing short of divine,
Yes, Mataji.
pure love. huh? And it is of the nature of a transforming force, a unifying force, a liberating force within us. And I believe that it is the love of God only that comes as a spark of love into every heart. And it is truly that power which is, making the world go around. It is the cause for all relationships. It is the cause for the source of joy which we feel in life. And it is the binding factor between people. Love alone matters. In fact, the more one grows spiritually, the more one deeply understands love and is able to radiate that love. Only thing is, the characteristic of true love is it is unconditional and unselfish. Now you may ask why this is so. Why should it be unconditional and unselfish? For the simple reason, although love begins with I and you, a dual relationship, the I slowly gets obliterated.
Yes.
The you, and especially if the object of love is really transcendental and divine, that so much it occupies your entire being that you have sort of merged now into that. So there are no conditions you lay down for your love because it is a liberation. Just to love is a liberation. And there are absolutely no, it has no kind of desires behind it that this should be satisfied for love to happen. And no selfish interest to it. That unless I derive this, then only this love is possible. All such demands are completely removed.
So it's unconditional, Mataji.
It is unconditional, it is unselfish, and that is why it liberates. I would point out to some factors which Vivekananda gives us.
Yes.
It is there in Vishishta Dvaitic philosophy, the philosophy of Ramanujacharya. He points out to the nature of true love. And Vivekananda gave that out in the form of a triangle of love. So he says there are 3 angles to this triangle.
Okay.
And the first angle is love does not know fear. You are not loving somebody out of any sense of fear or awe or trepidation within you. No, it's a free-flowing, natural, you can say, movement of your entire energy towards the object of love.
Yes.
And love that is why not born of a biological need or a mental need or a kind of a psychic need, which many people feel before they go into a relationship. It is not born out of that. That has to be corrected before real love can happen. So, the first is it knows no fear. Love knows no fear. It is in freedom that you love.
Okay.
And second is love knows no barter. That is why it is unconditional and unselfish.
Yes.
Because you are not asking for anything from the object of love. Then your love is the purest. Which means what? There is absolutely no exchange or business there. See, even in human relationships, all the failure comes when the expectations and demands are so huge that one does not see the need for, the deep satisfaction that love brings. If the object of love is truly ennobled and divine, there will be no barter there. It's a joy to love. It's a joy to offer oneself to that divine, isn't it?
Yes.
So that becomes so natural. That's why the second angle of love is love knows no barter. Love is a worship, love is a sacrifice, but it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It's the most liberating, joyful sacrifice you can make. So there is no barter element in love. It's never a business. See, today's relationships, when the commercial element comes in, there itself you are polluting the relationship.
Yes, it's a lot of give and take, Mataji.
That has to be, you have to cross over that. That's why it takes great maturity to love. Hmm? And a kind of spiritual maturity, where you have developed so much within, there is a huge power now working in you, which transforms individuals. And naturally, then your love will go towards the highest refined, some divine element alone. Naturally, it will happen. That's why God is the common object of love of all refinements. The third angle of the love triangle is love is always the highest ideal. It is for the highest ideal and it is itself the highest ideal, that is why. Because love and the lover become one. So you don't place anything above love. And your highest ideal alone is what you can wholeheartedly love. When you see that ideal reflected somewhere, then it will invoke love in you. See, this is so important because that is why love becomes a great force for transformation. It is idealistic in nature. You are seeing the ideal there, that's why you are loving.
Yes.
If you are just seeing a passion, you are seeing just beauty or something like that, something material, then it won't invoke the highest love. You can be sure of this.
Yes.
See, the day we truly ingest this point, we will see that love itself is moksha. Because it is the highest ideal, it is for the highest ideal, it will liberate the mind. Love alone is sadhana. And if there is love, sadhana becomes, joyful.
Yes.
And that is why this is a complete yoga in itself, what is called bhakti yoga. If we can develop real love for God, nothing else is required. It is something so beautiful, natural, spontaneous, and it is part of Bhakta's nature. And it is his highest ideal that he is loving. So there is absolutely no obstacles in that path, Because the ideal is always there, shining before you. You are just loving that ideal. This third angle of the love triangle, that is why it is important. If the ideal is not shining there and still you love, something wrong with that love. It is passion, it could be some kind of a distressing negative emotion like lust or something like that. So the understanding of love elevates. Although we say falling in love, actually you rise in love.
Yes.
You don't fall in love. Love raises both the lover and the beloved. And it unifies. Love is the supreme unifying force in this divided world.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah. So that is why cultivation of love, real bhakti, that is the most important thing in life. Do you have any doubt that love is the most important thing?
No, Mataji. It is the most important. So, Mataji, what is the difference between love and attachment?
Yes. That clearly we should demarcate between the two. Because see, we just now discussed love makes no demands. Love does not make any demands. There's no barter in love. But the very nature of attachment is it makes demands. It is conditional attachment. Attachment lays down its conditions and it doesn't give freedom to the object of love due to its conditions.
Right.
Yes. So the very nature of pure love is it frees the object of love completely. Have you seen this? This can be seen in the relationship between parents and children. When you truly love your children, you give them so much of freedom that they grow from within. But if you are making your child also a status symbol, and many people make wife also status. So if you are playing with all such things, it is only some kind of silly attachment. We have not grown in love. Love is when you see divinity sparkling there, and every child or every person coming into your life is a soul in evolution. You must free that soul for it to evolve fully. So love will never lay down conditions or bring a barter, It will free the object of love.
It will not set boundaries.
It will not set boundaries. It will not have expectations. But attachment is always about setting boundaries, making that person follow you, why he did not follow my ideas, and how can he be part of me. All these things can come. So attachment is binding. I can give you a simple example. See, there's so many beautiful flowers in this garden.
Hmm.
If you really love a flower, there are huge those begonias and roses.
Yes, Mataji.
If you truly love that flower, you will take care of the plant. You will water the plant. You will provide manure. You will see it gets enough sunlight, and you make the flower blossom fully. And if you are only attached to that flower, you will pluck it and adorn yourself with it. We do this even with relationships. Please see.
Yes.
You're using another person to adorn your ego. It won't work. The relationship will crash at some point or the other. It is only when you actually want that flower to blossom fully that you can call it real love. And every human life is like that, isn't it? It's a flower.
Yes.
You must allow it to blossom fully. You provide what it requires and watch it grow. The joy of life is in that.
So it's all about giving, Mataji.
The best example, that is why for really pure love, is the mother. She's giving and giving and giving and joyful in that giving. She finds her fulfillment in that giving, isn't it? And we have seen it in our homes that mother is really a very good symbol. She's just next to God of pure love.
But sometimes, Mataji, out of concern, we stop our children from doing certain things or giving them that entire freedom. We feel that it's not a...
No. Discipline is one thing and love is, you see, discipline is required in life. But when you take upon yourself the responsibility of making all decisions for your child's life, I think that is completely unrequired. You know, after a certain age, the child has to make his or her own decisions, stand on his feet, and go ahead in life in the way he wants to move. Indian parents, you will find this many times, they will determine what the child will study. They will determine whom he will marry. They will determine what grandchild they should be doing. Why you should do that, I'm asking you. According to his karmic development, I told you that is a soul in evolution, it is carrying its own karma. He will find the right person for his life. He will find his dream job. You give him that freedom. This is very important. You know, love gives freedom and attachment binds the person. So take care of these factors. All these factors become very important in family life.
Yes, Mataji. So freedom, you feel, will make the child blossom.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Not just make the child blossom. You see, tomorrow he will develop inner strength due to freedom. Vivekananda always used to say, freedom is the first condition for growth. Physical, mental, intellectual freedom, spiritual freedom, that must be provided to the child. You instill sanskars, but you are not imposing your attitudes on the child.
Yes, Mataji.
Without freedom, a child will not grow. And this is especially so, see, girls here, no? I have seen this, this Pangot village. Those girls are so innocent and pure actually.
Yes, Mataji.
But huge level of, they lack freedom. In the home, there's a huge weight on their head.
Yes.
So really the fathers actually decide what the future, the destiny of the child. Which is, I think, why should it be like that? An enlightened mind really wants the beloved to be free. Isn't it?
Yes.
Education requires more to be given to parents many times. This kind of education. Emotional intelligence, you see, is a very important factor in human life. It lends maturity to any blossoming life. If there's no emotional intelligence, you really want to determine everything around you. Even the family you make,
You want to control everything, Mataji.
but why should you want to control a fully developed human being? It is a very negative state of mind, I would say. You release it, give it freedom, she will make the right choices in her life. You allow her intellect to blossom, she will make the right choices of her life. And many things in life are karmic. You are nobody to decide how the karma of that child is and how it will go.
Yes.
You provide the sanskars, provide the education, give freedom. She will decide what she wants to do.
But ultimately, Mataji, we want our children to be happy. So what is happiness, Mataji?
Happiness is born of love. A loving heart is always happy. You see that, please see this. And you know, it is so beautiful. After some time you understand that love really connects with awareness. So this Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga are not two different margas, they crisscross. And the greater the inner awareness we develop, the more your love. And if that level of awareness is there, there is your personality will be tinged with a kind of true pure love, which is called happiness.
Yes.
You see, this Advait Bhav, Advait Jnana actually yields Advait Bhav, which means deep inner non-dual love. You are seeing your own self shining there. That's when love is the highest. And if this Advait Bhav has come, that is what is called love. So it is an experience of a shared being. A parent can see that in his child. He actually sees the child, son or daughter, as Atmaj, he's called no? In Sanskrit, which means the son is part of my soul. And the daughter also is Atmaja, part of the soul. So when he sees himself reflected there, then the love will be very high. But if it is bound by attachments, then it will diminish.
Yes.
So Advait Bhav is actually the starting point of love. Bhav,
Yes.
not, see, Advait Jnana should not result in Advait Vad. It should become Advait Bhav.
Wow.
The real experience of Advaita will give Advaita Bhav. So that's the common element in all forms of love, all relationships. You see yourself reflected there, so you feel the pull. Also, you must distinguish one thing. Love at the purely biological or psychic level, mental level, is not to be called love actually. It's a pranic pull. It's the pull of pranic energy.
Okay.
Which is only the second sheath, you remember?
Yes.
After Annamay Kosh is
Annamay
Pranamay
Kosh.
Kosh. So many so-called relationships are only pranic tangles. There's the pull of prana there. Now, unless this prana is refined and then you are moving from, you see, the biological element Annamay Kosh and then Pranamay Kosh to the Manomay
Manomay
Kosh,
Kosh.
Vijnanamay Kosh and Anandmay Kosh, and then even beyond that, to pure awareness. Until you make this evolution within yourself, your so-called love will be only at the pranic level. So it is the pull of prana that you are calling love. We use it very much in Indian languages. Mera pran usme basta hai, all this we say. It's not a very high state.
So that is human love.
That is human love. That is the love which first time maybe you felt that kind of love. But if you have really evolved from within, it will transcend the biological, the pranic, even the mental level. It has gone now to the level of awareness. You are seeing the ideal reflected there. It is a love because of a united, unity comes there. A feeling of same awareness is shining. And then that love has a totally different, flavor, texture and color. So that love is really liberating.
Yes.
So now you are not searching for your mental attributes there. You are not searching for what that person will give me, or you are not searching for anything of the Panchakoshas. So you have liberated the person, isn't it?
Yes.
Your love has liberated the person. Now you are seeing the ideal, the highest ideal, divinity there.
Yes.
So now your love is complete. See, this is the instruction which you will find in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in the words of sage Yajnavalkya. He is teaching his wife, Maitreyi. Because now he is going away into the forest. It's a very beautiful conversation. It's Yajnavalkya, Maitreyi Samvad in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. He is now going into the forest for practicing his Brahma Vidya. He has the highest knowledge. Now he wants to retire into the Vanaprastha life. So he tells his wives, he has two wives, Maitreyi and Katyayani, that you ask me whatever you want. All my sampati I am distributing between you two. So Katyayani asks for all his material wealth.
Okay.
But
Maitreyi.
she is not interested in his material assets. She tells him, give me the knowledge which you have. I want to know the nature of pure Brahman. I want to know the nature of love. Teach me this. Then he gives this conversation happens between them, and he says, how beautiful the passage is. He says, न तु पत्युकामाय पतिप्रियो भवति आत्मनस्तु कामाय पतिप्रियो भवति. Huh? You are not loving the husband for his own sake. You are loving the husband for the sake of the self shining there. So also everything in your life. Love is invoked only when you see the ideal. I'm telling you now. The highest love is invoked only there.
Yes.
Otherwise it is only silly passion and biological attraction which has no meaning actually. It will only put you into further trouble.
Yes, Mataji.
The love is always liberating, that is why. So he is giving her that message. Everything is loved not for its own sake but because of the self shining there. If you are seeing the divinity shining there, nobody will have to teach you love. Your love will spark off there. You know, the very nature of love is you have not practiced it.
Yes.
Your mind automatically has gone and stuck to the object of love. See, divine love is like this. So these are all very beautiful things we can draw from our scriptures.
Yes.
Regarding love and how you differentiate from attachment. There's another one beautiful passage in our Bhakti Shastras. The nature of love is the object of love has become like a magnet for your mind.
Yes.
And without any practice, without thinking too much, now you go and you're riveted on the object of love. And it doesn't budge from there. It gets absorbed there because that is divine. That is your very own nature. So that is the highest form of love. In Bhakti Shastras it is there. See, like when they describe the love of Radha and Krishna, they were not two entities. One being shining in two forms. So something like that.
So Mataji, finally love leads to liberation. And
Not leads to love is liberation.
Love is liberation. And two people become one, the lover and the beloved.
Yes, you can say that, but see, when you make a statement like that, you, in a worldly sense, you may understand that yes, it is a kind of union. Actually speaking, in the consciousness of the lover, the one who practices this form of bhakti, he is already one with the Lord. He's already just an acknowledgement of that unity. And we all have felt this kind of devotion for God, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
Because he represents the highest ideal of the human being. So he will invoke the highest love. That is the nature of God. That is why this Bhakti Marga, it's a tremendous highway towards the divine. And there are so many wonderful elements in it. And you can spend lifetimes with Bhakti, immersed in the bliss of God consciousness through the power of love. But that love has to be cultivated, for which you must develop first from within. If we have worked on our spiritual life, this kind of all-consuming, spontaneous, all-absorbing love becomes possible. And the social forms of love are only small reflections of it, because there the object of your love may be a human being, isn't it?
Yes.
So to a certain measure he may invoke your love, but what the divine does to the human heart is beyond expression actually.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, tell us which verse in Sanskrit depicts love best for you?
Oh, so I just love this verse by Madhusudan Saraswati. I have used it many times. Shrutasya bhagavad dharmat dharvahikam gataha sarvesha manovrittayah bhaktiriti abhidiyate. Which means when you hear about the Lord, Shrutasya bhagavad dharmat dharvahikam gataha sarvesha manovrittayah. Like a dhara, like a free flow of a river, all your mental vrittis rush towards the Lord. If this happens, see, you are not controlling one vritti after another like we do in yoga.
Yes.
And you are not replacing vrittis or doing anything like that. You are not obliterating with vrittis like dhyan, marg or anything like that. The whole flow of the mind, it's rushing towards the Lord.
Yes.
That's the state he's talking of. Dharavahikam gataha sarvesha manor, and all the entire mind. Not that many tracks are there.
Okay.
The entire mind is rushing towards the Lord. All the vrittis have come together and plunge into the Lord. This, he says, is the highest love. It's a very beautiful description of the state of the real bhakta. Really, his whole mind spontaneously flows towards the Lord. So he's a very pure soul. There's no divisions in him. The love of God, it has been described best by saints who have experienced it. And this is one classic verse which I really like, because this is what happens to the bhakta's mind.
Yes.
If it is pure, it will, in one flow, it will move towards the Lord.
But that is difficult to have, Mataji.
It is difficult, but spiritual practice is meant for that. These are all very elevated states of mind. Whether you follow the path of devotion or knowledge, you will experience these states in the period of sadhana.
So, Mataji, what is the difference between the path of bhakti and the path of knowledge?
See, the methods of bhakti and the methods of jnana may differ, but the state of consciousness which both reach is not different. Sri Ramakrishna used to say this: the highest bhakti and the highest devotion, knowledge. The highest devotion and the highest knowledge are not two different things. They are one and the same thing, he used to say. Which means the consciousness which you arrive at as a result of your bhakti sadhana and jnana sadhana will be the same, whichever path you adopt. But the methods can be quite different. In Jnana Marg, we use all this vichar techniques, meditations, all this. In Bhakti Marg, it is more bhakti sadhana that we use, japa, meditation on the sagun sakar aspect of Brahman. But what they finally lead to, para bhakti, what it will lead to, and para jnana, what it leads to, is the same consciousness. I can tell this to you through a very beautiful real life incident. So that we don't compare the two, and how they crisscross also. And in the life of many jnanis, bhakti element comes in a very big way. I can tell you this with the help of a very beautiful story,
Yes,
which really happened. Okay, this is a life incident from the life of Swami Akhandanandji Maharaj. He was one of the direct disciples of Thakur Sri Ramakrishna. And one day, he was, when they were in the Baranagar Mutt, that's the initial stage of the monastic life. Not monastic life, the monastic institution, the Ramakrishna Mutt. First, they were in Baranagar.
Okay.
So there, Maharaj was sitting on his cot one day. And that night, he had he was not feeling very well. So didn't get much sleep. And so he sat up for his meditation. And he started thinking in the course of his meditation that this Vaishnava bhavas are actually just emotional, sentimental things. The real thing is Vedanta. This I am sense, Brahman consciousness, that's the real spirituality. As he was thinking this, suddenly he had a vision. He describes it as a vision only. What did he see? He suddenly saw that the whole place was as it were lit up. He's sitting on his cot. And he sees the whole place lit up and such bright light, and he clearly saw a very, very beautiful, attractive, divine baby crawling into,
That
his
light.
view. Crawling into that light, and it is so luminous and so attractive, such a beautiful face, bhavpurna, and radiating such bliss around it that he got riveted on that child. He had never seen anything like this. The aura around the baby was simply divine. And the way it is moving and smiling and expressive eyes, so he was just taken over by this. Then he suddenly saw a lady in a gopi's dress.
Okay.
So that the dress of the gopis,
Yes.
the sari and that ghagra,
Lehenga,
all
choli.
that, yeah. So she comes there with butter in her hand, and now she's moving around the child. Eat my lalla, eat Krishna. It is the baby Krishna. He's having darshan of that. And when the child turns away, she also turns to that direction. Again, the child comes back, and this leela between the mother and the child, so beautiful. With tears in her eyes, the mother is feeding her child. And Krishna is the very home of all beauty. The very word Krishna means tremendous attraction, overpowering attraction. That is why his name is Krishna. So this Leela is going on between the two, and Maharaj is sitting and watching this. And he is completely drenched with tears looking at this Leela. His heart is overwhelmed. the affection, the bond between the two, and what is being exchanged there, he gets the glimpse of real bhakti. And then, wonder of wonders, Thakur appears in that vision and points out to this Krishna and his mother Yashoda and says, "Dak dekhi ki bhav, dak dekhi." Huh? Look at this. The see bhav word has no English equivalent, so I always struggle to translate it. It means the total mental, emotional disposition of the mind, which comes as a result of an overpowering bhav, overpowering inner bhakti, highly developed emotion, you can say, devotion. So he points out and says that they look at their divine play, ki bhav dekho, and then he asks Maharaj that do you want nirvana or do you want this? And Maharaj says, I don't want nirvana. I don't want liberation. Birth after birth, let me enjoy this sweet exchange between this mother and child. I have tasted bhakti now. I don't give me nirvana, Thakur, give me bhakti. Immerse me. It's the most immersive experience possible, bhakti. It will capture the heart and mind in such a way you will think anything else is insignificant. So he opts for bhakti. See, he's a great jnani. He was one of the prime followers of Swami Vivekananda. This was his state at that time. And then the vision gradually recedes. He comes back into normal consciousness. He's dazed. What did I see? No sleep for him that night. And morning, when he steps out of his room, he sees one of his brother disciples, Swami Ramakrishnananji was there, making that dantam, a kind of toothbrush which is offered to Sri Ram. It's a twig.
Yeah, it's a twig, yes.
They are working on that. They offer that at the shrine for the Lord. So he is making that. And then he comes to him and says, do you know what vision I had? And he, with tears in his eyes, again he explains this. And then his brother disciple embraces him and says, you are blessed that you had this experience. See, this is how Jnana and Bhakti alternate in the sadhak's life. These were of course very great souls. They are direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. But in our own little lives, you will see both these awareness contributes to love in a big way. And love happens only in full awareness. So how can they be two different paths? So they crisscross, they mix and they express themselves in different ways. And every bhakta, you should know, is full of jnana. Every gnani has been a tremendous bhakta in some life or the other. Know this for certain. The gopis of Vrindavan were the rishis of the Upanishads.
Yes,
okay, so know it for certain that these two paths are not two different things. Initial methods are different, but the state of mind, state of consciousness they lead to is very similar. In pure awareness, love sparks off. If there's no awareness, there's no love. And in love, you will actually see the full blossoming of knowledge, or what is called consciousness. So this is how. So you asked me, bhakti and jnana, are they two different things? They are not.
So they are one. Now, Mataji, they lead us to one goal.
Practice and see, and you'll know.
Yes. So, Mataji, thank you so much for this podcast. Thank you. So thank you so much, Mataji, for the podcast today.